Hi, this is Hale Pringle, and for me the first question is always, is this a great day? And the answer is always, oh Hale, yes. Today I want to do a very short video talking about creating a network marketing customer relationship management tool using basically a free app that's on the internet. You can run it on your desktop free. For $40 a year, you can have an app on your phone and your tablets, and they synchronize all together. Basically, it is very inexpensive to be a CRM tool. So the first thing, why do we need a CRM tool? Well, the two main reasons. One is follow-up, and it is totally critical in network marketing that you get back with people when you say you're going to, or even if you haven't said, you don't want the people to slip through the cracks. So everybody has the next time you ought to check and see what's going on. This has not only the prospects, but also your team members, your customers, lots of people in your list. The second major thing that's a CRM tool will do for us is help us track our daily activity. One of the things that you need to be doing is you can't control the final results. You can control the activities you take that create those final results. Tracking those and looking at your progress over time and looking at what you're actually doing is part of accountability. And even if it's only accountability to yourself, but oftentimes it helps to have a partner or an upline that wants to know, what did you do? How many people did you contact? How many people did you follow up with? How many people did you use the company tool? Send them to a video or an ATM group or whatever your company happens to do. And I'm not going into ATMs today. But so those are the two major reasons for a CRM tool. Remember the Milk? It's been around for quite a while. I wrote an article on it about 8 years ago, or a post in my blog. So it is a very mature to-do list system that has developed and is very, very powerful and reliable. And before we get too far into this, I do want to mention there are two posts in my website, halepringle.com. I'll post the links at the bottom of this if I post it out on YouTube. But if you go to halepringle.com and search for the word remember, you'll see the several posts that I've done on Remember the Milk. It's not the same as a normal to-do list. A normal to-do list, you put tasks in on their due date, you handle the task or before then, and then you mark them off as done and they disappear from your list. So you're constantly adding new tasks and getting rid of completed tasks. Here, we don't complete. The tasks are people. We don't ever complete a person. We simply move them through a series of lists that mimic our recruiting process, and you'll see that as I go along. Simple systems like the 3x5 cards and sticky notes and Trello can track where a person is in this sequence, but they do not track very well due dates, and they don't provide daily activity reports. Just to clarify, as far as I'm concerned, except for a very small group of people which I've contacted and I don't ever want to contact again. For example, I don't want to prospect somebody who's very high up in another network marketing company. Just doesn't make any sense. And there are also people that I prospect that I get a very nasty response from, or just whatever reason, I don't want to get back with them. Everybody else, people I've sent a message to, people I've added to the company tool, people that I'm trying to follow up with, even people that have said no. Most of them I'm going to get back to them, say 6 months from now. So they have a due date of when I need to send back a, hey, if things changed, how can I help you? So everybody has a date when I should be getting back with them. Otherwise, they fall through the cracks, and it's very easy to do, and we're trying to avoid that. That's why we have CRM tool. So let me jump into the very end and show you what it is we're trying to achieve with this. Here is a list. People I've asked the question to, and we can see that 2 of them I'm due to yesterday. I'm overdue on them, and 1 or 2 that were due today. So there's 4 people I should get back with because I've asked them the question, and then the question is, are they open to looking at our business or our product? And if I haven't heard back from them, I want to check and make sure that they saw the message, and maybe I'll send a short message that nudges them. A couple of ways to do that. But here's the list, and here's who I need to deal with and when it is that I should be dealing with them. And we have several lists. The other one is recording daily activity. Here I'm using a version of Fraser Brooks' system of the important things to follow up on. And he uses a few items like, who did you request? New friend add message. So these are new people you contacted today and added to your list. How many did you ask the question to? How many did you send to the company tool or a video that you've done or whatever it is? How many gave you a final yes or no? How many did you follow up with? New customers, new team members, and how many happy birthday messages did you send? So those are some of the activities that'd be nice to have numbers on, and it's hard to get those off of sticky notes or Trello. So here's a report for that activity out of Remember the Milk. There are some special lists, and the lists aren't really a static list of people. There are a set of criteria, and when people meet the criteria, they're in the system someplace. It shows them when you ask for this, what they call smart list, to be shown. So here are 12 people that we prospected today. These were 12 new people that got added to the list today, regardless of where they are in the sequence. Mostly they go into a new prospects, but I've had people who were very interested in a product once they saw an ad that I ran, and so I may talk to them and drop them straight into the company tool. So that's the first time they ever showed up, but they were a new prospect that I added today. This is a report, and I can just take that 12 and move it over into the spreadsheet. So our first task, if we're going to be using this, is to set up the list that we're going to use. And here's what mine look like, but we'll do it here. List 1 is new prospects. They haven't responded to me yet. Once they do respond, I move them into the next where I'm talking to them, but I haven't asked them the question yet. When I do ask them the question, I move them to the next list. I've asked the question. If they show an interest, then I may send them, I'm going to use our tool, the ATM group, or a video. And once they've seen that, or should have seen that, I'm going to follow up with them. Now, I'm going to get at some point here, they're either a yes, they became a team member or a customer, in which case I put them in this list, or they say, no, I'm not interested, but I will check back later, and here's that little list of people that I don't want to talk to later. So those are the lists that I'm going to use to move people through the prospecting process. So I'm going to quickly demonstrate how I use this system. I'm going to use a little bit of it here in PowerPoint, and then I'm going to go live. So here are the steps. The first step is, for me, daily method of operation. I'm going to respond to messages that somebody sent me today. So that's the first thing that I do. These are people who are actively want to get an answer, and it's very important to get back to them quickly. So I'm going to look at my list in Facebook of who messaged me today. Second thing I'm going to do is check any new friend requests, because some of those may become new prospects in my list. When I've done those, the next most important thing is adding new friends or messaging old friends that I haven't talked to in a while and getting them actively involved as being a prospect. Once I finish doing that, then I'm going to go through Remember the Milk and follow up with people who there was something that was due today. Just for example, people that I said 6 months ago, to myself at least, I'll get back with them in 6 months. Then I will go and message those people. Hi, haven't talked in a while, wonder if things changed, and you've got a message as you're going. After you finish doing those, you're going to do happy birthday messages, which is a good way to get a conversation going, and you can add those people to the list, some of them. Some of them are already on your list or whatever. After you've done all of those, then we want to run our reports and add them to the daily activity Google sheet that I showed you a minute ago. By the way, there is also an article on that sheet, which I'll be posting, and you can make a copy of one of the sheets so you have your own. There are 2 years worth of dates in that sheet. All right. So here's how I respond to new messages that I've received in Facebook. I used to use this little icon up at the top, which gives me some numbers. I found I missed a lot of messages. So what I do today is I click on Home, click on Messenger, click on the little gearbox and say Unread Chats, and I will get a list of unread chats, regardless of how old it was. What I usually do is click on one of those, and it will disappear from the unread chat. Over here on the right, the person's picture and their name. So I like to right-click and open that in the new tab. The reason is I'm going to want to copy their name, and it's very difficult to get Facebook to let me copy the name here off of this page, but it's very easy if they have their own tab. So here they are, their own tab. They have sent me a message. I'm going to open it up, see what the message is, send back my response. Then I'm going to click up here, and it's going to highlight the name. I'm going to do a Control-C and copy that name. Go over to Remember the Milk. Remember the Milk has a search bar. I can drop that name in, and the person will show up regardless of which list they're in. So I can now click on this person, and a little screen will open with more details. Add a little bit more note of where we are. Maybe change the due date. Definitely change the due date. And maybe put them in a different list. So that's handling requests that came to me. I'm going to do, at the same time, new friend requests. They're very similar to adding a brand new person, which is what I'm going to do next in the live, where I go out and do some prospecting. So let me go out and go live. All right. One way or another, I have found this person, and I want to add them as a friend. Now, I've already sent the friend request in this case. I did it in a previous iteration of this video. So that would normally say, add a friend. So I would click on that. Then I would click on message, send them some type of message to start a conversation. Next, I'm going to go up here and highlight the name. Go over to Remember the Milk. This is a brand new person, so I really don't need to search to see if they're there. So I want to go to my list of new people. Now, this is a dummy list because I don't really want to show you the names of real people here. So I'm going to add this person. I'm going to paste their name in so it's exactly the way Facebook has it, so I can get back and find that person later. And I'm just going to say here, sent message. I could get more detailed, and I often do. Then I'm going to put the due date. And here I'm saying I want to get back and look to see whether they saw it or whether they answered in a week. One of the nice things about Remember the Milk is it understands 1 week, 3 weeks, 2 days, yesterday, tomorrow, 6 months. It will turn those into dates, so I don't have to go out to a calendar and figure out the date of 6 months from now. So I've just added, and there's the person. If I click on them, here is their, more details. I can add subtasks. I can add notes. As much, if I have a lot of information about this person, we've been talking quite a while, I can be adding extensive notes. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and change their date to today so that I can use them as an example in just a minute. All right, let's go back and look at our list. We've done this, obviously creating a new friend from a friend request where somebody is virtually the same as what I just did, where I went out and searched and found a new friend and messaged them and put them into the system. The next step, I'm going to go through Remember the Milk and follow up with all the people who have that I'm due to talk to today. So let me go back to Remember the Milk. Here's somebody who was due yesterday. I'm going to go ahead and deal with this person as if it's been a week and it's time for me to go check and see what's going on here. So click on person's name. Here's all of this. I'm going to highlight the G. Hale Pringle. So I'm in Facebook. I'm going to search for, so I'm pasting in the G. Hale Pringle. There he is. And usually it'll say friend. Obviously, I've not had this. I don't even remember the password of this account. But I go to here. I can open up the message and send them another little message. Or I've got a video, a little image sometimes I send, which says, note to self, make a friend today. Something to see if I can encourage a response. At that point, I've dealt with this person. I'm going to go back to Remember the Milk. I'm going to set the date for 1 week, and here you can see some of the options where it knows when Tuesday is. 1 week. I'm going to change this and add sent nudge message. So next time when I look a week from now, if there hasn't been any response, I'll go ahead and move them into the check in 6 months because they're not wanting to talk to me or they're not talking to me right now. Some of that may change as I learn more, but that's what I'm doing right now. G. Hale Pringle's due date has changed, and I'm not due to look at them for a while. Let's go back. So we go through each of the lists, handling everybody who has a due date of today. The next thing I would do is happy birthday messages. I don't collect those much here. If there's a new prospect, it'll show up as a new prospect. But the happy birthdays, some are families, some are people already in system, some are people you don't really want to contact, whatever. But you do the happy birthdays and collect the ones that are new prospects and put them into the system. The last step in my DMO that's involved with this is recording the daily activity. So I'm going to go back to Remember the Milk. And what we have down here is some special lists that are reports. And what happens here is you give it a set of criteria, and when you click on it, it will go find all the people who meet that criteria. So this new people, the criteria is they were added to the system today. So here it says I have 5 people, there's the 5, that I've added today. So at that point, I can go over to my spreadsheet. So I go down and find today, add the 5, go back, there's another report, people I've followed up on. So here there were 5 people I followed up with. Go over to the spreadsheet, and in the follow-up, and there are 2 kinds of follow-up, and I'm going to add the 2 numbers together. The people who are still in the early prospecting that I'm following up with, and people that I have sent to the company tool, and now I'm talking to them, working to get a Zoom call going. So if that's another report, and I'll add those 2 numbers together. There we have. We've gone through all of the steps and recorded. So we've done the main 2 that are useful here. The going through Remember the Milk to follow up with people who are due today, and the recording day activity. That's why we're doing this. So that's it. We've done the follow-up. We've tracked our activity. If you've got any questions, you can message me at that link, fb.me/message, msg/Hale Pringle. And I hope this can be of use to you. I'm working on getting a way to export all these where you can just import them rather than read the articles and do it yourself. Hope this is helpful. You guys be safe. Oh, Hale, yes.